What's going on, everybody? Seth here, Disc Golf Strong. Thank you for tuning in to this live Q&A talking about the Performance Academy, talking about optimizing your potential as an athlete, really help you tap into that next level so that when you're out on the course, you're feeling good and you're feeling like you have control of your performance, your consistency, your accuracy, your distance, and also your health, to make sure that you are feeling injury resistant and that you're feeling resilient, that you can bounce back from round to round, from drive to drive, and you're not having all those aches and pains that so many of us do when we are out playing disc golf. So how is it going to work tonight? I'm going to just briefly talk about the Performance Academy, what to expect, what is the Performance Academy, and then we're going to bring on two Performance Academy alumni who are also longtime Disc Golf Strong Inner Circle members, and Jessica Oleskie and Kevin Laughlin, and ask them some questions about them as disc golfers, how they see themselves as disc golf athletes, and how they kind of the path that they've gone on from just playing disc golf to really wanting to train and compete as a disc golf athlete. And then, their experiences in the Performance Academy. If you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments. We would love to get to them. If you have anyone for me or Jessica or Kevin. Now, when you leave a comment on our end, it's just going to pop up as Facebook user, unless you want your name to be seen. Inside the description, all you need to do is there's a little link, says like StreamYard/Facebook, and just click on that and just allow your name to be used to pop up inside the feed here. Now, if you're on YouTube, you're watching on YouTube, this is also being streamed live on the Disc Golf Strong YouTube channel. Your name will automatically pop up. I already see a comment here. I don't even need to see who this is. Brother Muncie with a little bit of this. Justin, thanks for tuning in, buddy. I know who that is. Curtis checking in from YouTube. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So first off, Disc Golf Strong Performance Academy. First thing I want to get across is that we are athletes, right? Whether we believe we're athletes or not, when we go out there and we throw a disc, when we're on a course, our bodies need to be athletic. We need to develop some sort of athleticism, okay? Now, do we need to do a ton? Do we need to do everything? No. Do we really even need to work on our athleticism to go out there and play disc golf, to throw a disc? Not necessarily. Do we need to do it if we want to play over and over again? Do we want to do it if we want to play for a long time? Absolutely, because even if it looks super buttery smooth when we're throwing a disc, there's a lot going on in our muscles. There's a lot going on in our tendons, our joints, our nervous system. And so the better we prepare ourselves to be able to handle the stresses that we're going to encounter as disc golfers, the better we're going to be able to compete and the longer we're going to be able to compete. I've had people say, hey, Seth, I don't necessarily want to throw farther. I don't need to throw farther. So do I need to do any strength training? Do I need to work on my mobility and stability? And I say, well, maybe you don't want to throw farther, but maybe you want to throw longer, like for longer, right? This is a lifelong sport. We want to play this sport as long as we can. And so by introducing some strength training, some mobility work, some stability work, doesn't have to be intense, doesn't have to leave you crawling out of a gym somewhere in order for you to experience the benefits. But if we do that, it's going to help our performance. I started the Disc Golf Strong Performance Academy. It's been a long time coming. I started Disc Golf Strong back in 2016, and then the Disc Golf Strong Inner Circle in the beginning of 2019, and then now the Disc Golf Strong Performance Academy to help all disc golfers play strong and healthy and injury-resistant and resilient disc golf. There's a study from the University of Arizona showed an 81% injury rate in this sport. That is a very high injury rate. And so the more we can do to lower that injury rate, the better we're going to be, not only individually as a disc golfer, okay, as a disc golf athlete, but also for our community. All right. So the Performance Academy is a 6-week course, guided course. It's an online coaching course that takes you through the building blocks of what it means to train and play as a disc golf athlete. Okay. So we have 6 weeks and now a bonus 7th week covering mental game, where we're going to have Eagle McMahon and Paige Pierce, who are both disc golf strong athletes, joining us on a call in the Performance Academy, talking about their mental game routines and what they've been working on and how they approach the game. So during those initial 6 weeks, we're going to cover different topics. So like the first week is the prime disc golf athlete. That is all about setting yourself up for success. All right. That is, we're going over some goal setting. Why is it important to set some goals and how the best way to do that? We're going over movement assessments, finding out a baseline of where are you now with your movements. And so as you move through the academy and just beyond in your life, you can look back and see, okay, what are some of these areas that I need to be focusing on to really release these internal parking brakes. I'll talk more about that in a second. But where can I find these areas with this movement assessment to build upon, and then at the end of the academy, where have I gone? Where's my journey taken me through that? We're also going to talk about setting your environment up for success. There is no shortage of training information free on the internet. Like for anything you want to do, really, you can find all kinds of stuff on the internet. But us as humans, we don't all have training routines. We don't all go and incorporate different types of movements and everything into our daily routine. A lot of that, one, is we don't have a plan. Two, is we're not sure. When you have 1,000 things you can choose from, it's hard to really determine what's best to choose from, and it can actually limit our ability to experience growth. But also, it is important to have a plan in place. Okay, so there's a lot of information out there, but if we don't have a plan in place that takes us from point A to point B, that's hard. So we cover all that really in week 1 of the prime disc golf athlete. Week 2, we're going over mobility, the mobile disc golf athlete. Okay. Now we can mobilize in lots of different areas. And if you look online, you can find, 150 different ways to mobilize a hip. But we want to look at what are the areas as disc golf athletes that we should be focusing on the most. And then what are those key exercises that you should be focusing on, and how to do that. Then in week 3 is the stable, strong disc golf athlete. In that module, we go over stability, joint stability, why it's so important for our shoulders, stability in our shoulders, stability in our hips, core stability, how that transfers to our performance on the course. Okay. We all want to tap into this potential that we have, but a lot of times we have energy leaks in our body. Our joints aren't stable enough. And if a joint is moving around like it shouldn't, okay, then a mobile joint, when it's supposed to be stable and strong, can be an injured joint. It can also rob us of power. Then we move into the powerful disc golf athlete, how to create force, but more importantly, how to absorb force. A lot of people are injured, not necessarily when they're creating force, it's when they're slowing down. They're trying to, their body is controlling that force and allowing that force to transfer efficiently from the lower body to the upper body. Think about someone in baseball, a hitter, they hit, okay, and then they're running to first base and they pull their hamstring. It's usually not when they're leaving home plate running to first base. It's when they're slowing down. Okay, they're trying to slow their body down, and that is when we can experience many of our injuries, when we're trying to slow ourselves down. So we talk about some plyometrics and how to keep your body safe there. Week 5 is a big week. That is the prepared disc golf athlete. And in our previous Performance Academy 00, we had a group of our inner circle members go through the Performance Academy already. And so you'll meet 2 of them tonight. They loved this week, because this week is all about how to prepare yourself as a disc golf athlete. We're going to talk about field work. What are the discs and watching them fly, but we're actually doing it in a manner that is going to help us optimize our practice and also lower our time. Think about professional sports. The baseball team, the Yankees, they don't just go out and just randomly hit balls and just, throw here or throw there. No, they have a routine. They have, when they go out and they practice, they have things that they're focusing on. And not only are they just doing their practice, but if the Yankees are playing the Red Sox, they're not going out and just practicing to just play. They're going out to practice play the Red Sox. The Patriots are not just going out and practicing to play football on Sunday. If they're playing the Giants on Sunday, they're practicing specifically for the Giants. So we talk about that, how to look at what course you got coming up, what are your tournaments, and ways to optimize yourself for that tournament. We also talk about nutrition, routines, morning routines, evening routines, things like that. So it's a great week. We got a lot of downloads, that field guides that I know Jessica has used at her tournaments. And so maybe she'll talk a little bit about that. And then finally, we have the recovered disc golf athlete. So it's not just important to, have the stress and utilize what we've done, but also recover from what we've done. Okay. The recovered athlete is going to be able to bounce out there the next day, the next round, and be able to jump in and do the work and be able to optimize their bodies because they didn't get a poor night of sleep, because they're not, dehydrated, things like that. Their muscles just aren't, insanely sore. So those are the 6 weeks. And then we have that bonus 7th week is going to be all about the mental game of disc golf, the mental game of elite athletics. And we're really excited to bring on Disc Golf Strong athletes Paige Pierce and Eagle McMahon to jump in and on a live coaching call for that. So that's the rundown of the academy. It's available for anybody. And what I mean by that is all skill levels can do it. All skill levels are able to jump in. Doesn't matter what division you play in. Doesn't matter how long you've been playing. Anybody can jump in and find success in the academy. Our training sessions are body weight in the academy because we want you to be able to have success and show you that you can train your body with just the tool that you have all the time, body weight. And then in futures and inner circles, that's where we get into, where you dive more into using bands and resistance and stuff like that. So I'm going to bring on Jessica Oleskie and Kevin Laughlin. I'm going to ask them some questions. And then if you have any questions, like I said, just leave them in the comments. If you want to have your name known to us, it just shows us as Facebook user. If you want to show your name, then just click in the description. There's a little link says like StreamYard/Facebook, and just allow StreamYard to go ahead and just access your name, and then it lets us know what your name is. All right. So let's bring in Jessica Oleskie and Kevin Laughlin. Welcome, you two.
Hello.
Excited to have you both here. All right. So both of you been in the inner circle for quite some time. I know, Kevin, you've been in the inner circle since like January 2019 or something like that. You were like very early on, like pretty much the beginning. And Jessica, you've been in for quite a long time as well. First off, this says December of last year. Yeah, that's both like almost a year for you as well. This is so exciting to have you both as inner circle members and also joining us tonight. All right, so first off, we're gonna go, how long have you been playing disc golf, and what is your favorite course? And then we'll move on from there. Let's go Jessica first, then we'll go Kevin.
Ooh, favorite course would be very hard because I am a course addict, but it's probably gonna have to be the Sanctuary. It's a private course in Ohio. It's very similar to like a Rolling Ridge feel of a W.R. Jackson feel, but like 10 times better. I've been playing since early 2000s, but competitively in the PDGA since 2014.
Awesome. I am in that like Sanctuary Facebook group. I want to go to that course so bad. It's so awesome. And you're also sponsored by MVP. And yes. Your last tournament you were just in was in the Jonesboro Open, right? That's the last one you just competed in? Awesome.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. All right, Kevin, how about you?
Well, I've been playing probably close to 10 years now, a little more serious the last 2 or 3. Disc Golf Strong was really when I got really serious 2 years ago. Well, almost 2 years ago now. And then favorite course all time is I've been fortunate enough to make it out to Maple Hill in Massachusetts, and there's just no place like that. I mean, it's a magical place.
Nice.
Yeah.
2 courses, both of those courses I've never been to, but I see so much about them, and those are definitely both bucket list courses for me. So that's awesome. All right, so Jessica, what got you into thinking about training for disc golf? Did you have an athletic background, so then just training your body for disc golf made sense, or was it something that kind of slowly came on?
I definitely have always been athletic, but how I trained for that has been very different of training for this. To be honest, I didn't train for disc golf. My training was getting, rounds in and field work and putting practice. And then I did, my normal workouts. I would work out at the gyms or home. And what kind of intrigued me to your stuff was, I saw Kona posting a lot about it, and I'm a, big advocate for her. And I had about 3 injuries that I noticed at a little older that I just wasn't recovering optimally, and it was hindering, my success. So I was like, it's time to do something different because what I was doing wasn't working.
Yeah. So, and you're right. Like Kona has been a really big proponent. I've been working Kona for a long time, and to see, the athletes at the top level showing that they're doing the training. I don't really broadcast many of like the athletes that I'm training. Kona, they kind of just do it on their own. Kona has been putting stuff out there for a long time. And you with, your athletic background and realizing that, hey, I need to maybe explore something different. Do you feel that was impactful for you? It sounds like.
Completely. It was definitely life-changing. I also am a big fan of chiropractic. I've even had my chiropractor notice the difference. So stuff that I couldn't manage myself, you were able to kind of refine and manage it for me in such a simple way. So it's the healing of my injuries has been more of a success than they were in the 2 years of doing it myself.
No, that's so awesome. Very, very cool. How about you, Kevin? What did you have athletic background, and what kind of led you to, kind of thinking that you should start training your body for disc golf?
Yeah, I do have an athletic background. I ran cross country in high school and played ultimate frisbee for quite a few years. And getting into disc golf ultimate was a little too far away from me, and I was getting a little out of shape at the time. So I had transitioned to disc golf, and it had been a number of years since I'd done anything really workout oriented, and I was feeling like I needed to get back in shape. And it was at that time that I saw an Instagram post about Disc Golf Strong, and I'm like, I didn't know what it was. I started looking into it. It's a, workout based for disc golfers. And I'm like, well, this looks like something that I could get into. And one of my big motivating factors for it was that, there's so much you can't control on a disc golf course. I didn't want one of the things that was letting me down to be my body or something that I could have control over. And that was a big motivating factor for me to at least know that my body was in the right place, and that I'd be able to play the sport for as long as possible.
Yeah, no, I love, thank you for sharing that, both of you. And like you said, Kevin, your body, you wanted to make sure that something you had control over. I just sent out an email yesterday about releasing your internal parking brake, your performance brake, because, we have, when we're out there on the course and we're not playing well, a lot of times we can start putting the blame into external factors. And do external factors play a role? Absolutely, but we're like, oh, the weather or the disc selection, even though that is our choice, it's still kind of like an external thing, right? Or, oh, I don't like this make of basket or the tee pad. Like, we can start putting our focus and attention on those, as those are what's limiting us. Those are what's holding us back. And while, yes, we can account some strokes sometimes to things that happen externally, right? We have control over internally, like you just said, right? And we can have a parking brake on our performance. And kind of what I said in the email, and an article just came out that I wrote for UDisc, talking about the same topic, is that imagine that you jump in your car and you're trying to drive your car, a high performance car, but you have your parking brake engaged, right? It doesn't matter how awesome that car is. It doesn't matter that you are a great driver with 0 tickets. Your performance in that car, the performance of that car is going to be hindered. And not only is it going to be hindered, but can we still drive a car with the parking brake pulled up? Yeah, I mean, we can, right? Like we can go down the road with the parking brake pulled. But does that mean that's going to be good for the car? No. We can still perform it, but things are going to need to be getting replaced soon, right? We're going to have to start replacing some car parts. It's going to cost a lot of money. And like I said, we're just not going to be able to reach the level of performance that we want. So what is the internal parking brakes on our performance? It can be limited mobility in our joints. It can be limited stability in our joints. It can be inadequate core strength. It can be hip strength, hip stabilities, shoulder stability. It can be our breathing patterns, right? We talk about in the inner circle a lot about our dysfunctional breathing patterns and how to get out of those dysfunctional breathing patterns, which we also cover in the Performance Academy, right? So if we release those internal parking brakes, things that we actually have control over, we can now start to better optimize our performance. So both of you sharing that, and how you, even where you're trying things in the past and didn't feel like they were achieving what you wanted, and we wanted to make sure we have control over our internal, that fits right in there. Awesome. All right. So going into the Performance Academy, before we dive into some of your experiences, what were one or two things, like one or two takeaways that, things that surprised you about the Performance Academy? Kevin, we'll go with you first, and Jessica went first last time.
Okay. So one of the big things for me is it was going to be interesting for me to see how I felt going into the Performance Academy after doing inner circle workouts for about 1.5 years at that point. And just seeing, what kind of information would be new to me. And one of the biggest things was, even though I had a lot of experience with the workouts and with the disc golf strong mentality and a lot of the things that I had learned just in my time, spelling it out in the class and taking time to go back and revisit a lot of concepts was really, really eye-opening, because you're coming at them with a different viewpoint from all of your experiences, and you're building off of stuff that you learned. So, even if you've been a part of the inner circle for quite some time, and it seems like some of the stuff you're doing, you've already had a lot of experience in the Performance Academy, it's still extremely valuable because you're building off of stuff that you've learned from experiences from before. Mm-hmm. So I took away a lot more than I thought I would. And then the other thing that was big was kind of, Seth brought it up with the prepared portion of the disc golf, the Performance Academy. Really taking a step back and thinking like, the things that you can control, and being prepared, coming at things with a game plan. A lot of times for tournaments, I just wake up, grab something for breakfast, head there, not really taking into account what's the weather going to be like, is it a hilly course? How have you prepared for that? How's your hydration? What time are you getting there? All these things are things that can trip you up, because if you've ever had to hurry once you got to a tournament because you were late or you didn't account for something, it really sets the tone for the rest of the tournament. So I got a lot out of the prepared portion. There's a lot of stuff I could go on for, but that's like the top two that I come to mind right off the bat. Those are the top two. But I mean, you could take every single piece of the Performance Academy, and there are huge takeaways from each week.
That's awesome. No, and I said in the beginning, the performance, the prepared disc golf athlete, how that was, really impactful for many people, based on what they, the comments they left about it and the feedback. And like you just said, Kevin, like you don't want to put in you don't want to put in a bunch of field work and invest your money and invest your time away from your family or from other things, and then you show up and you're just not prepared at all because you didn't think about weather, like you said. You didn't bring the right discs. You didn't get good sleep. You stopped and got a breakfast burrito that you never do, but you were rushing for time, and now you're spending half the time on the course going, man, my stomach is killing me. And then you leave the course that day and you're like, man, that was like a horrible tournament. Like I did not have fun. Like you don't want to erase all the work that you put in. So that prepared disc golf athlete just, do we need to do it to play in a tournament? No. Like, do you need to do it if you just want to go if you just want to go have fun and you're just a rec player and you're like, I just want to go, you don't need to do it. But will it help? Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've shown that. And I'm sure, Jessica, you can speak to that as well. So how about you, Jessica? What are one or two surprises from Performance Academy?
Every time you're talking right now, I'm like, this. Like, I'm just keep going. So the biggest thing I have to say is for playing the sport for so long, first off, I started off with horrendous form. So for me to see it now, I'm like, where was this when I first started? So anyone that's interested in doing and getting into the sport, this is the way to go. For people who have been into it, like you can totally revamp. And what was the biggest surprise to me was seeing everything go into fruition, but seeing it all, everything's connected. And this showed that in not only digital formats, physical formats, mental formats. Like it was crazy to see that. So like your preparedness, your hydration, your nutrition, like everything going into the mobility, stability, to see like, well, that's not why you're getting distance, is not because of that. It's because of every one of these things. That's why you're not getting consistency. That's why those injuries are happening. So many people want to focus on one, and it's not at all a one thing. Everything is connected. So that was probably my biggest takeaway. I am a huge advocate of your preparedness. I have posted about it. I've had questions. I'm very detailed. So organization, I thought I was organized, but how this puts it into what's in your mind on paper in an organized fashion leaves your mind to do nothing but play disc golf mentally. Mm-hmm. And that was huge for me. I overcome, since I did that for this last tournament, some of these mental obstacles that I've overcome just in that one. And I haven't even been doing this for a full season. Like it's so awesome to see. Like it was that, and the hydration, that was a game changer, and recovery. Like so many people are like, my knee hurts. And I was one of those people, like, what could be wrong with my knee? It's not what was wrong with my knee. It's what's wrong with my hip and my core.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. How you said it's all, it really is connected, and we really want to make sure that, what we're doing makes sense, right? Like that it transfers. Like I was saying in the beginning, there's not a lack of information out there on doing things, but we're not really sure sometimes if it's effective or how it will fit in or anything. That's what we're trying to do, is put the piece of the puzzle together and make it count, right? Spending time with a professional hockey team as their intern strength coach, I learned very quickly, like if we're working with $1 million athletes, right? My strength coach can't just add stuff because he feels like it's cool. Like it's gotta matter. Like he can't just go, wow, I saw this really awesome exercise that this person do on Instagram that they don't have anything to do with professional athletics, but they just did a really cool video. So I'm going to go have a $10 million athlete do that, not knowing how it's going to impact their performance, or, hey, let's just throw all this stuff on them. Like we're not like, I never want Disc Golf Strong to be the thing. Like, disc golf's the thing. I'm here to support. Like, Disc Golf Strong is here to support, right? You on the course, you competing your best. That's the thing. Like, that's the end goal, right? And so, trying to make sure that they're connected and that they mean something, and it's not just, here's just a ton of stuff, not sure if it's going to help or not. Like, that's not what we want. And I'm glad that resonated, and that you felt like things were connecting and that they actually mattered and that they actually helped. Yeah. And they brought things together. So awesome. And I see your comments. Thank you thank you, everyone. We're going to just go through a few more questions, and then I'll bring some of these comments up and these questions. All right. So this next question, and both of you are very busy. And I remember Jessica too, when we first were talking about Performance Academy 00. You had asked me, you said, hey, I'm like really busy. And so how will the Performance Academy work? Like, will I be able to get stuff out of it? I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it was generally that gist of like, I've got lots of things going on. How will this be able to fit in? What would you say? Like, yes, there's things to do. We have things to do, but if we want to get better, we have to do if I only put one thing out there, that's not going to be enough. So there's going to be a little bit of a time commitment, but everyone has to, figures out how to make it work for them. We'll start with you, Jessica, on this. Fitting it into your life. How did it fit? What are some ways? Let's go.
So if you have a passion no matter what is going to take time. I agree with what you said, depending on what you want out of the sport is depending on how much time you give, but this isn't just a commitment to the sport. This was a commitment to a health choice. So I noticed the difference with the optimization of my mind at work, even though my mind usually at work is still on disc golf, right? But anyway, so it's the optimization all along. Brandon and I truthfully live by the phrase of make the time. So you have to, no matter what you do, make the time. But I can tell you that this not only helped my mental focus on what my goals were. And why I say that is because generally speaking, if you don't go to the gym and crush a 2-hour workout, you don't feel satisfied. This had a game plan. That game plan had for an end result that you really wanted. So this 20 to 45 minutes a day made for me to see that end result come in. And that 20 to 45 minutes, you're telling me people are scrolling on Facebook. People are choosing, to do something else, and you have that capability in a day. It's not a commitment of 2 hours. It gives you flexibility. So, I work a minimum of a 10-hour shift to 14 hours. I do field work, it's travel times. We travel on the weekends. We work full-time jobs. I did this outside before tournaments. I did this in our hotel room at tournaments. I've done this before work. If I didn't get to it before work, you get to it after work. It made it so easy that I didn't miss a day.
Yeah.
And I've never committed to anything like that besides playing disc golf.
No, that's awesome. And that point you brought up is so true. Like, it's not just about disc golf though. Like, that's the thing. Committing to improving your body does not just help you on the course. It helps you off the course as well. It helps you with your kids. It helps you with your life and what you do and what you like to do outside of disc golf. It helps you at your work, because really what we're trying to do is become more optimally functioning humans. And when we're more optimally functioning humans, we have the capacity to be more optimally functioning disc golfers, right? We lower injury risk, right? We all that. And playing with our kids. Kevin, I know that's something you know about.
Yeah.
Well, right? How about you with a family and trying to fit this program in? Talk to that.
Yeah, definitely. I have a 10-hour day job, kind of like Jessica was saying, and you come home and you're pretty pooped, and I've got a 4-year-old waiting for me, and she's ready to go. And you've got dinner, you've got the normal household stuff, you've got life. But one of the things that both Seth and Jessica have alluded to is how everything's connected. And, it's not just disc golf, decisions you make in your life directly affect your disc golf game. They direct, why are you even doing disc golf? It's, something that you enjoy in your life. It's all part of your life, and so finding the time to fit this in, and it's really not a question of fitting it in. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use, because, with something that you're passionate about, all of the topics and videos that are brought up in the Performance Academy are all things that you want to learn about. You start the video and Seth's going through some stuff, and it's really interesting stuff that you get invested in, that you want to learn about. And, it's a very flexible schedule. You might have time for 2 videos one day, no videos the next day. Or you might be trying to fit in workouts here and there. And once you get started, that's another big thing, is just showing up. If you just show up and get started, a lot of times everything will just kind of come together. And with it being a part of life, my family is a part of my disc golf training. My daughter loves to do workouts with me as much as she, she'll do something for like 3 or 4 minutes and then run off and play and then come back and see what else I'm doing. So it's not like you're stepping out of your life to do this. It's just a part of your life, and you're just making time for it.
Yeah. So true. So true. And I don't know, Jessica, I don't really ask you this. I know Kevin definitely, he does his training with his daughter. You ever drag Brandon in doing any?
Oh, absolutely.
I figured.
Completely. Drop down and give me 100.
Nice.
No, I do, especially because he's had a bad back. So a couple years ago, he had a really bad accident. He fell out of a tree stand. And from doing that, he fell at one of AM Worlds in Iowa on the tee pad and had a DNF. And after that, we both realized that there was a change. So now he does. And the commitment isn't as much, I think, physically for him, but he started doing the preparation worksheets with me already. I was like, oh, I see you.
Yeah, Brandon.
I'm like, it was crazy. And it made things so much more clear. You never know how much is in your head, where taking notes on the course, because we always watch the course before, because we don't have as much time to practice the courses away. But putting that, everything else, morning, the night before, things to think of, when we had our issue where we blew a tire and we didn't check to see if our new spare worked, and it didn't at the preserve, and that ended up being shenanigans. So something like that, you never realize all those little things. We literally went and I, at one point in time in Arkansas at Jonesboro, I was like, what do I do? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I have nothing to think of. I just what do I do? I did my recovery already. My sheets are done. I have time. I've never had time to just sit and think. And I was like, I got to fish, you guys.
Sweet. I love it. Right. Just putting it down on paper and taking that time to make sure that you're ready to go. I mean, it really makes a big difference. Both physically, mentally, I was talking to Tiffany, my wife, for those of you who are not, familiar, my wife, Tiffany, she does all the back end stuff of Disc Golf Strong. So, shout out to her. Now, I was talking the other day, she is.
She's so awesome.
I was talking the other day about performance. And I was thinking of this because I just went to a 2-day coaching course up in San Francisco called the Pain-Free Performance Specialist. It was started by a friend of mine, Dr. John Rusin, who's an amazing physical therapist, doctor of physical therapy and strength coach. And so I've wanted to do his certification course. And so I jumped in and I went up there and I did that. And one thing I was thinking of while I was up there was performance. It was pain-free performance. And I was thinking about checklists, and I was thinking about assessments, and I was thinking about, the field work guides and the tournament preparation guide and all that, and how it affects performance. And then I started thinking about, and I was telling Tiffany this, when I spent 4 years in the Coast Guard, where I did search and rescue and federal law enforcement. So we were kind of like a fire/police station. So we worked 48, 72-hour shifts, and we did search and rescue, we did law enforcement, we did all that in the San Francisco Bay. After that, I did 6 years on an ambulance doing 911 calls down in Southern California. And we worked 24 and 48-hour shifts. And I was thinking about it, and every morning we walked down to the boat when we showed up for our shift, or even if it was day 2 of our shift, we walked down to the boat and we had a checklist. And we checked and we made sure everything was on. We made sure everything was running. Even if I checked it yesterday, I checked it again today. When I was on the ambulance, it didn't matter if I checked that the bandages and the oxygen was filled and everything was good to go, and that there was gas in the engine, and I checked the tires every single day, even though I checked them yesterday. That checklist made a big difference in our performance. When those tones went off, we were ready to go. I wasn't running to the ambulance and we were going to a car accident with people injured and lying all over the street. And I'm thinking, do we have enough oxygen? Oh my gosh, we're almost out of gas. Did we bring bandages? We were optimized with our performance so we could show up and do what we needed to do. All that other preparation, all the checklist, all the pre-training that we would do, right? When I would be on a Coast Guard boat, and we'd be out there and it'd be raining, and we would just, my boss would say, "Hey, we're going out on the boat just to cruise around, and it's raining and there's waves crashing and everything." And then all of a sudden my boss walks outside, looks around, grabs a buoy, throws it over and says, "Man overboard." And we're like, and we just go in and we start running through the drills and everything like it's somebody in the water. We did that so that when we showed up in real life, we were ready to go. We were optimized for performance. And that's what we try to do with our training, with our mental game work, with all that, right? We're going through those field work guides and the figuring out what your pre-round tournament routine is and things like that, right? You're checking it off physically, mentally, everything, so that when you get on the course, you're not like, "Oh, I forgot to bring food, and my water bottle's not filled, and I didn't bring the right discs, and I haven't practiced for these shots," and so it's optimization of performance. So I just went a little longer than I thought, but I just, it just was something that I was really thinking about that was powerful.
That's so true, though, too. It's so true. That was the best analogy.
Awesome. Yeah, we need to optimize ourselves, and that's what we're doing with Disc Golf Strong, is optimize ourselves. So now we're almost to the questions, so thank you for the questions. Please leave any questions, comments. We'll get to those. If you're on YouTube, we can see your name. If you're on Facebook, it just says Facebook user on our end. But if you want to leave your name, just go in the description, click StreamYard. It says a little link says like StreamYard/Facebook, and it just allows StreamYard to just pop your name up for us. You don't have to, but just want to let you know you can do that. All right, so the Disc Golf Strong philosophy. I heard you both kind of allude and speak to this a little bit earlier. In how we do things here at Disc Golf Strong, they are different than some of the other programs out there, especially the commercially available programs, training programs, right? So people will look and say, "Okay, well, I've seen P90X, or I've done this or that." And I'm not really trying to speak to any of those, but I'm just, giving some examples of that. There's programs out there that people can do for training. Well, as all three of us know, as you both know, it's a totally different training philosophy here at Disc Golf Strong, right? Sometimes people, they don't know, they think that it might be more P90X hit style. They just don't know. And some people come in with the background of P90X hit style, and they're like, "What are we doing here?" right? Yeah. So it's different, right? And I'll speak to this. I'll let you both talk, and then I'll kind of speak a little more to the training philosophy in a bit. But Jessica, we'll start with you. What are some of the things, like your background and about the training philosophy? What are your thoughts on some of the training philosophy here at Disc Golf Strong?
Ooh, body, mind, everything, like body and mind together with strength and resilience and balance. And it's totally different. It's unlike nothing. I've done the Turbo Fire. I have done P90X. I've tried, and it's always, I did not finish P90X, and I won't try it again. I had more knee pain than I did notice anything different. I get bored very easily, so I don't want to be doing the exact same workout every day. So I would go to the gym and make my own. And you start noticing that, like, if you are ADD, like, you're doing an arm day, but your arms aren't really having a difference 3 months later, and because you're kind of just not narrowed down. So I was kind of threw everything else out, and I was just doing HIIT workouts, and I felt more pain. So I stopped, and stopping wasn't the option because I started to get achy, and I had more injuries in the course. So since doing Disc Golf Strong, not only is it main focus is that one, commitment, consistency is key. Consistency of 20 minutes is enough. That is enough, no matter what anyone says. The second focus is there should be no pain. Soreness, because you're working out, is there, but not pain. And if there's pain, there's a reason. And then you, Seth, have taught us what that reason has been. And that's a huge eye opener alone. If you're not privileged to having that knowledge, and the internet can say God knows what, you know, you don't know how to solve it. You don't know how to fix it. I'm thinking, like I said, I go back to my knees. How many exercises I did. I'm like, more squats, right? More squats. And then I was like, it's helping other areas, not that.
Yeah.
So now you were what, 4th or 5th session into hip mobilities, and I'm like, I have no knee pain. Like, I can do Spider-Man lunges without knee pain, and I have not worked out my knees. So it's more focused on health, refine strength, consistency, and you get the dependability, mobility of your body.
I love it. I love it. And I heard you earlier say something. You were like, "Oh, maybe if I have knee pain, maybe it's actually coming from my hip." And I was like, "Yeah,
I did not think like that before."
I was like, "Yes,
it's crazy. That's
goes
all
right
because of
into
you."
Awesome. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, definitely. I was huge. I did CrossFit. I did P90X. You know, there were times that I'd spend an hour and a half, 2 hours at the gym, just like, you know, I'd leave and my muscles would be like pulsing, you know, because you're just like, you know, chasing that sort of, you know, the adrenaline fuel, I want to feel the burn. And one of the things you realize that the philosophy of Disc Golf Strong is, you know, we're training movements, we're training things that are going to be practical to us on the course. And along with the time commitment, you know, we want quality workouts. You know, you want a movement or a workout that's going to benefit you directly with what you're doing. You know, everything is value based. And with a lot of big time workout philosophies, when you're chasing that burn, you're not really doing things correctly. One thing that I learned through Disc Golf Strong is a lot of upper body things I'm doing. You know, I'm kind of keeping my shoulders shrugged. I'm engaging my traps in most exercises and kind of taking my shoulders out of it, you know, and so you're not training the right muscle groups, you know, because your body isn't ready for the movements that you're trying to put it through. And starting at the fundamentals makes such a huge difference. And I'm telling you, you know, you stick with it. I'm the strongest I've ever been. And I think the heaviest weight I've lifted is maybe 25 pounds, you know, here and there, just rarely. And I'm not feeling fatigued in the workouts. I know I've got a good workout, but I'm not like burning to the point that, like P90Xs do everything to failure. And, we don't ever do anything where you're losing your form. Everything is making sure you're doing things correctly and that you're getting the most out of the time that you're spending, and really strengthening the places that are important makes all the difference. Your hips have been a huge difference for me, getting strength in that. If you're playing disc golf and, a lot of times your lie isn't going to be just flat ground, great footing, you could be up on a hill, you could be, you've got to be in an awkward position to be able to have that stability, to be able to get the form you need to throw out of there. There's so many great applications for the work that we do. And, taking it down to, you start to realize that you can get a really great workout without feeling like you just got your butt kicked, and it's a lot easier to come back to day after day. But I mean, I could go on forever, but it's the philosophy here is great. And I know that it's easy to look at it when you've been used to other workout programs and say, man, when is this going to pick up? And when you really take the time and do the workouts, you'll see that it picks up from the beginning. It's just different than you're used to.
And it's for every range of player. That's what's so great. Any range, any division, any athleticism, anything. It's and something even for if you're a full touring pro, a partial, amateur, like you can fit it in your schedule. And because of the consistency, you're also having a trainer show you each movement. You can't have your trainer at the gym with you all the time. Like I literally had a question about where to put my foot in one of these, lateral lunges. And I just look it up on there, and it's giving you not only informative, but the visual and the reasons of why you want your form like this to prevent the injury that we were probably making ourselves because we weren't properly educated. So like, you don't need a really space to do. It's very limited space. You can do it anywhere. You're having the visual aspect of it, and it's like as short as you want or as long as you want. Like, it's really promoted more growth of your body and not a hindrance of a getting more injured. So like for me, I wouldn't be as consistent because I had to plan like no Thursday or Friday workouts, because then I can't properly squat to putt or something because I'm so sore. And these, I was doing it the mornings when I have afternoon tea times. Like, you're still able to move your body and get it even more warmed up. And then on top of that, you have the disc golf strong warm up. And I'm like, it's remarkable. Like, you should, who doesn't want that optimization?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you both for sharing. And really, yeah, the training philosophy, is big in meeting you where you're at and helping you set you up for success, and realizing, like I said earlier, like we're not the main thing. The main thing is performance in your life. Like a lot of fitness philosophies, it's like they try to become like, it's like the main thing. It's like, you need to do this, like, 9 days a week and, this and that, like, and you need to be, crawling out of the gym. I remember like working with a professional hockey team was one of the most altering experiences of my life as a strength coach, because I remember I walked in there, and I'm the intern strength coach, and my strength coach was not like hey, let me sit down and show talk you through some things. He's like, all right, welcome, get in there, start coaching. And there's like $1 million athletes all over the place that I like see on TV all the time, and I'm like, hey everyone, I'm Seth, check your knee there. And but essentially, I walked in thinking, okay, they're going to be doing the craziest things. They're going to be doing like Olympic lifts, like all kinds of crazy exercises. They're the best athletes in the world. We were doing Turkish get-ups, body weight Turkish get-ups. We were doing, planks. We were doing side planks. We were doing all kinds of, because my strength coach was like, these are not professional exercisers. They're professional athletes. Like, if we crush them right now, and then they can barely put their skates on and get on the ice, like, that's not a good thing. Like, we don't want that. Like, we want them to be able to, we want what we do in here to help them with what they do out there on the ice, right? And so the training philosophy is different because it's saying, okay, we're going to work our way up and we're going to make sure that we have good technique and make sure that we're working on the right things, not just things, right? We're not just doing exercise for exercise sake. That's why we talk a lot about like we're training instead of working out. Working out is all right, but working out is usually just random exercises put together with the goal of sweating, breathing hard, feeling a burn, which really feeling a burn is just extra lactic acid building up your muscle. It's not like you're actually getting a better workout, but that, you know, that's for another conversation another time. But that's the goal of those workouts is burn, not be able to walk the next day, this, that, right? That's working out. Training is exercising with a purpose. It's movement with a purpose. It's saying we're doing this stuff, even if it looks like it's prehabby. We're doing it because it's stabilizing your hip. Because when you're on the disc golf course, you need a stable hip, right? So it's different. Some people are worried, okay, we're going to be doing, you know, high level, like crazy movements. No, and especially in the beginning. Now, can you work your way up to that? We can always work. And that's, you know, in the inner circle, we're going to be diving more into that after the Performance Academy is getting deeper into it, into those kind of concepts. But, you know, still with that same training philosophy of what is the goal and making sure that we're doing the goal. And the goal is never to crush you. My goal is to never crush you. That's not ever going to help you. Can you get some soreness? Absolutely. Is that okay? Yes, but effort does not equal effectiveness. Effort's just effort. More is just more. Effective is effective, right? Better is better, right? So awesome. Okay, so we're not going to get too deep into this, but we do talk a lot. We on our weekly talks, we always dive deeply into more mental game stuff, which is awesome, which we love talking about. So I'm super excited to have Eagle and Paige on that. It was just going to be Eagle, and then I sent something to Paige, and Paige is like, "Do it." So like this is so great to have Eagle and Paige jump in and on this well, but talking about mental game, and then we also talk about that a lot in the inner circle in our talks is how, you know, to make sure that we're optimizing what's going on up here so that we can optimize what's going on in here and on the course, right? Awesome. Well, people have been tuning in for a while now. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to look at some of these questions real quick. If you have any other questions, please post them. We'll spend just a couple minutes going through these questions or you know, seeing what people have to share, and then we'll wrap it up. The Performance Academy ends tonight. The sign up, it is discgolfstrong.com/performance. It's only $30 for now 7 weeks, including that 6 weeks plus that bonus week. And then for people that go through the Performance Academy, if they want to continue, then they can just move into our inner circle, which is what Kevin and Jessica are both in, have been in for a long time. And that's where we get deeper into training programs and all that. So it's discgolfstrong.com/performance. And tonight, the next one is going to be in February. And now the only way to get in the inner circle will be going through the Performance Academy, because we really want this to where people can have this community, this accountability, this way to set yourself up for success, to go through the foundations of training Disc Golf Strong and playing Disc Golf Strong, and then move into the inner circle after that. Let's get into these comments. All right.
Put it into perspective. That's a tank of gas, people. Like, for this much training, like that's huge discounts. Okay, I just got excited. Never mind.
No, I appreciate that. No, thank you for sharing that. I mean, we try to keep it super affordable. Even the inner circle at $10 a month. You know, here in where I live in Monterey, 1 hour of personal training is like $120 for 1 hour, right? And so we try to deliver all this training and everything for $10 a month for the inner circle, and just $30 right now for the Performance Academy. When you go and talk to someone here, when I would go and train somebody here, it's different, right? So we're trying to make it super affordable for the disc golf community. So I appreciate that. All right, let's see. Sean Fick, I'm going to pull it. Let's see. This is so cool. This StreamYard, I can pull it up. Sean Fick said, I can't wait, Seth. Love what you guys do with the sport. Thank you, Sean. I'm just new to this StreamYard. If you're tuning in, we were talking about it. I get to do all this cool stuff. John on YouTube said, I often video myself for field work to critique my form and technique. Do you have any suggestions for using video to identify areas where you can improve from a physical and mobility standpoint?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, during week 1 of the Performance Academy, we go through a movement assessment where we encourage you. I show you the movements, and then encourage you to film yourself doing those movements. Do either of you have anything to speak to this?
Film. You see so many like quirks that you do in your body that you visually or physically feel like you're not doing. Like and then you get to see your progress. It's like you want to see your progress on form, which is totally amazing, but you get to see exactly where you need your hips to be. Just a little bit of twerks make yourself to get that much more of efficiency out of the workout.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Definitely. I mean, it's just like when you use it for your form, you're noticing you're doing things that you didn't realize. And there's a lot of, movements that we're doing that you start to notice that, oh, you weren't quite straight, or, you might not have as much mobility in your upper back as you thought. Things like that, you can identify places that you need to work on, but also it puts a little mental note in your head when you're doing that movement, like, okay, I got to make sure my shoulders are square, like I'm not, leaning to one side or the other. And it makes a huge difference. And like Jessica said, then, after a month of training, 2 months of training, you look back and you're like, wow, look at the improvements I've already got. And and then you get more excited to continue on.
Yeah, tons of gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we try to really improve your performance in exercise in dialing in your technique and slowing yourself down, not just grabbing a heavier weight and going. Mm-hmm. Like that's where, right? Same thing in disc golf. The smoother and the more, the better our timing and everything, the better we're going to be, not just by grabbing like the most reversible disc and just ripping it out there with, poor technique. No, we want to get better at our technique when we are on the course. And same thing with with training is we get better by, dialing it in. Awesome. Great feedback. This person, Facebook user said, I hope to get my son involved, even if he's not in it for the same reasons. I think a great opportunity to show him dedication to something. Absolutely. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Hopefully he gets involved as well. I think that'd be a great family thing to do as well, and a great example. Just like, Kevin does with his family.
Well, and honestly, my sister doesn't play disc golf at all, and she subscribes to Inner Circle, and she does, a lot of mobility workouts, and, and she doesn't even play disc golf. So, my wife is a really casual disc golfer. She likes to come out and play with me, but same thing, she's like, I need to get back on the workouts, and so regardless of, your family's a disc golf or not, they can really benefit from this. These are some really important, you learn some important life lessons, and everything you learn here, you can apply to everyday life.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we try to make it, we really want to make it approachable for everybody. Mm-hmm. Fitness is not approachable for a lot of people, because if you look at magazines, you look at things, if you own a fitness magazine, you sell more magazines by continuing to put out crazier things and way more exercises and this and that. And the average person just is not at that point, right?
Who has the time for that?
Exactly. So that's where we talk about, right? Like even 2 minutes of exercise is better than 0 minutes of exercise. Mm-hmm. And, Jessica, like you said earlier, and I know, Kevin, you agree, is consistency. And you hear me say this, right? Consistency is the magic pill you must swallow. Consistency is the magic pill to success. Doing something, even 5 minutes of something, is better than doing no minutes of something. So it's really, finding that time and finding how to start. This Facebook user said, checklist. I have one for camping and just the same one for disc golf. Mr.
Is that an orange?
Orange. I'm going to say peach, but it looks like an orange. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Orange. Mm-hmm. Paul Stanley said, always make sure the O2 is full and on. Absolutely. You never want to show up on scene and not have the oxygen for the person. This person said, great stuff, guys. Looking forward to it. Awesome. Thank you. This person, Facebook user, said, totally worth it. I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, cool. Any parting words of advice for either of you as we finish up here? Again, it's wrapping up tonight. The Performance Academy registration, discgolfstrong.com/performance. We're kicking off on Sunday, and we're excited about that. So the registration ends. Everyone's going to get it. That's joined is going to get an invite to the Facebook group, a private Facebook group tomorrow morning to join in the private Facebook group. And then we're kicking off with an official launch on Sunday, because every Sunday, that's when the content drops. Like that week's module drops on Sundays. So week 1 will drop on a Sunday. Week 2 will drop on a Sunday. And so some people like to watch all the videos and everything then in one day. Some people, I know, Kevin, you would more spread it out throughout, right? So it's all dependent on how you do it. We got a comment here. Johnny Tsunami. I've seen most of your videos on exercise and stretches and took the time every morning to go through the stretches, and that alone got me to throw 400 feet. Awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Super cool, Johnny.
Yeah.
Thanks for posting that from YouTube. Truly appreciate you sharing that, and I'm glad that you took the time to do it. That's the thing. We have 100 things to do. We don't do any of it. We have 2 things to do. We focus on those, and we be consistent with it. We're going to see positive change. We're going to see optimization. So awesome. All right. So either of you have any parting words, any advice or anything for somebody that is going, they're logged in, they're going to do it, or someone that is thinking about doing it?
Well, this is another thing. I'll try and keep it brief, because I think both me and Jessica could talk for like till midnight about it. But if you're kind of on the fence, we're coming into the off season. It's been kind of a rough year. Not all of us have been able to play the amount of disc golf we've wanted to. And for $30 getting into this, you're getting a lot more than just a workout program, like we've been saying. These are some life habits that will change how you live day to day. And it's a huge step in your disc golf career, but also just in life. And for $30, I mean, going into the off season strong, I know we're going to have off season training 2.0 this year. We're going to be really getting ready for next year, coming into 2021 strong. It's definitely worth it to take the step. And the consistency that this course that this program teaches is really, it's sustainable. And one thing that we talk about a lot in Disc Golf Strong is, even an improvement of 1%, even a 1% improvement every single day, you do 90 days of that and you've got already a massive improvement. And that's just 3 months, and think of where you'll be a year, 5 years, even 10 years down the road. You're starting something today that can have a major impact, in your life. It'll impact your life now, but it's going to impact it even more, down the road.
Awesome. I love that. That 1%. Aggregation of marginal gains. 1% better every day does this. 1% worse does this, right? Just 1% makes a big difference over time. Jessica?
To not wake up and feel stiff is a life happiness that I have right now. You can't play disc golf, you can't work, you can't do a passion if you don't have your body. Your body needs a training of some sort to keep it mobile, to keep it flexible, to keep your muscles going. So if you're not doing what you need now, what you want later on won't come. And if you're needing a simple way to get involved, or you can have this as simple as you want or as strategic as you want, because you can also do additional, of those workouts when you're doing it, do an additional rep. It can be customized to what your needs are. But I've already done the academy once. I plan to even get tenfold out of what I'm going to do this time, because it's going to be a totally different experience of what I make it. I cannot speak any highly. You're talking to someone that has scoliosis, and I fractured my collarbone and my chiropractor couldn't help me, and Seth did. Okay. Game changer, people.
I remember you posting in the Inner Circle, or I think it was the Inner Circle of the Performance Academy, that your chiropractor was like, yeah, I keep doing that, or whatever you're doing.
She's like, It was a couple times. It was a couple times that she's like, kind of like, oh my God, you're looking better. Like, and she's looking at Brandon and she's like, it's like, what's the difference? And I kind of didn't say something at first. And then one time I like had like a little area. She was like, how about you try this, like, Turkish get up? And I was like, oh, how about you try this like dead bug? And I'm like, And all of a sudden I told her, she's like, no wonder.
You're like, I'm only doing those. I'm doing Turkish get-ups. I'm doing dead bug.
It's just so crazy. You're so knowledgeable, and you have put it into such a format that, one, it's user friendly, two, it's easy to understand, and it almost gets to a point where you're like, how didn't I correlate this before? But you put it into that we are able to physically understand it, and that's rare.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, I'm glad. I'm
and this
so
is
glad.
Not a sales call, okay? Like, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm so glad that both of you are here. And let's see.
Wait, what are we supposed to say? It's not a paid advertisement, like.
Right. Yeah. We're not sponsored by Disc Golf Strong.
Like, no, we're not. I don't think either of us, especially with the profession that Kevin has, I don't think either of us promote anything that we, one, don't do, and two, don't believe in.
Yep.
No, well, it's been so great to have you. And Jessica, like you said, people are able to jump in and do more if they can, or meet you where you're at. The training sessions, it could say in there, one round. If you have time and you're ready to go, do a second round. If one round is great, good, better, best, right? Mm-hmm. Bad is really not doing anything at all. Good, better, best. Even just doing something, one round of something, one exercise, one set of something, that's good. Then we can get better, then we can get best, right? We can move up, but it is customizable that way. And like you said, you're doing it again, which is awesome. All right. Johnny said, we'll finish up here. He said, also help relieve pain on my lower back. So glad to hear that. Keep going strong, Johnny.
That's awesome.
And then Benjamin Nash here. Will the information inside each module be available after the course is over? That way we can go back and look at it, or will go away after the week is over? That's a great question. So the information of each week is available throughout the entire academy, and then we give you 2 weeks. So through the 6-week academy, and then then we give you 8 total weeks to get through all the content. All right, to watch the videos, there's resources you can download. And so that is over an 8-week period. So give you 2 extra weeks to do it. So if it's week 5 and you want to go back and rewatch week 2, you can do that. Or if you had missed a video in week 1, that's okay. You can go back and do that. It's not available after 8 weeks. Okay. And really the big reason behind that is I have lots of things that I have purchased that I have access to forever. And you know how long it usually takes for us to accomplish things that we have forever? Forever. Mm-hmm. Right? So if we have a long time, there's Parkinson's law, which is essentially if you have a week to do something, you'll get it done in a week. If you have a month to do the exact same thing, you get it done in a month. Right? So if we have it for those 8 weeks, you want to make sure that you go through it. You're not like, oh, well, maybe I'll just, do it in January, or I'll figure it out, sometime in the, December, and then you never get to it. We really want to make sure that when you go through it, that you're feeling better as an athlete, that you feel like you can actually compete better, that you feel that your body feels better. So that's it.
I will challenge you guys. I will say this. I'm going to put a challenge on there I'm not going to put limits, but I'm going to put a challenge that I guarantee not a single person will not feel some sort of optimization from this. And if that person's out there and you don't, come speak to me, because I don't think it's going to happen.
Awesome. No, well, so again, thank you both for being here. Again, for those of you tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for leaving the comments. If you have any questions, email us, team@discgolfstrong.com. Again, it closes tonight, discgolfstrong.com/performance. Next one, if you don't get on this one, it's okay. Next one's going to be in February, beginning of 2021. As Kevin said, we are going to be doing in the inner circle, the off-season 2.0 that will be launching after the end of this academy. So if you're in the academy and you want to stay on for the off-season training, we have that. And then in the inner circle, There's other programs in there. There's, resilient disc golf lower back program, a resilient disc golf shoulder program, a busy disc golf athlete program, MEDS programs, which are minimum effective dose programs. You're going to say something, Jessica?
The busy one for the athlete was like one of my favorites to do.
Busy disc golf athlete. We have essential strength, right? 1.0, and we just dropped essential strength 2.0. I know, Kevin, you're in the middle of that. So again, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jessica. It is an honor to be both your friend and your coach. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be here and sharing your experiences with the Performance Academy at the Inner Circle, and just with as a disc golf athlete, as a disc golfer in this sport, in this community, sharing your experiences and your thoughts, and just really want to say how much I appreciate you both. And I look forward to seeing you in person in 2021. Hopefully we all get back together and we are out on the road. Disc Golf Strong is out on the road. Excited to see all of you. So thank you again. Email us team@discgolfstrong.com or shoot us a message on Facebook if you need. Have a great night, everyone. Train Disc Golf Strong. Play Disc Golf Strong.
Thanks for having us. You're appreciated.
Thank you.